Yo, what's going on, homies? It's your boy Stumps back for the OPTC video, and in today's video, we're diving into the treasure map versus Alvaro Pizaro with some boosted teams for the final boss and the intrusion. Now, you guys saw my summoning video. I actually picked up Garp, and then I did the discount yesterday, and I actually picked up Kuzan as well. Now, I don't have Coby. I don't plan on going for Coby, but in today's video, I will sort of showcase a team with Garp, a team with Kuzan, and a team with both Garp and Kuzan, and show you where to put Coby if you have Coby alongside those particular units. Now, if you just have Coby and you don't have any of the other rare recruits, head over to my no new batch team and basically just sub Coby in as the captain for these particular teams. And that's going to work out fine. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. If you guys are missing the entire batch as well, the link for that video will be there as well. But if you enjoy this kind of stuff, put the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff for me. And with that said, let's dive into the teams for just the final boss and the intrusion. Now, the mini-boss fights, they pretty much remain the same. You can basically run anything you like, get it done faster, get it done slower, point boosters or not. It's totally up to you. The real crux of Treasure Map nowadays is the final boss and the intrusion. They're getting very, very finicky, very, very challenging to deal with, and this one is another one that is super, super doozy. Now, we are going to start off with the Garp teams. If you just pulled Garp like I did in my video, hopefully these teams will help you guys out. We'll talk about some replacements and stuff too, but if you need replacements, make sure to post them in the comment section below, because I'm sure, look, if I can't get to the comments, someone else might be able to. So, for the fight against Pizaro, fighter, shooter, power, get all the good stuff. You get a full board of block orbs, blind on your middle row, normal attacks only, intimidation for an attack and orb boost, and there's immunity except for defense down. Once you kill Pizaro, he gets a full recovery, and that does a 99% HP cut to you, which is very annoying. On the final stage, he's weak to fighter classes. He gives you another full board of block orbs. He gives you attack down for 9 turns, top row despair for 7 turns after sockets, normal attacks only, all healing for 3 turns is converted to damage, full immunity except increased damage taken, 2 turns of damage now, and puts up a territory. If you get him below 20% HP, he does 1,000 times his attack and damage and basically will kill you. So if you don't kill him in 1 turn, you're basically going to die. Now the team looks like this. This is what I put together for the Pizaro fight. We are using Beppo as a 1.4 times booster. We also have Kuzan as a 1.44 times booster. And then we also have Garp. Now, the downside, if you pull Kuzan, you can't use the free-to-play Kuzan, but if you pull Garp, it definitely works out in your favor. Vivi here is literally just a flex spot. You can put anything you like. I just put the highest booster that I could that I didn't use on another team. So that's why she's here. So let's start off with stage 2. Taking a look at stage 2, you have to deal with bind on your middle row for 6 turns. And that's pretty much it. You get a full board of block slots as well that you have to take care of, but you can pretty much get around it fairly easily with this particular team. We actually need to put on the Brûlé support. Now that I'm looking at this, it goes like this. You got Brûlé, wham bam, thank you ma'am, and then actually we need some more despair. So actually need to do this now. I'm thinking about it. Yeah, that works better. And then we don't need that. We can just use like anything at all. You can just remove. Honestly, it doesn't matter. Or actually, you can probably take off that. That's probably a little bit more accessible for people because, you know, who has that, Oniguro support. So, stage 2, you have to deal with the block orbs. This is where we're going to use the super class of Coby. Using the super class of Coby is going to give us a full board of orbs, and then you can double bink the Kuzan special to remove the bind. He gives himself a bunch of cooldowns. 4 turns of cooldown if you're above a certain HP threshold. Then you get 1 turn back, and then you can just literally remove 6 turns of blind, literally with this guy special. Make sure you have sockets. That's going to be the wave. Thanks to Kuzan, you can just take care of stage 2 with the help of that Coby super type, which is really, really nice. On the final stage, you can probably actually pop the Beppo special like 400 times here as well. If you have type advantage, obviously, you could probably use Beppo a couple times. You could probably use Luffy, actually, too, now I'm looking at it. Nah, you get the intimidation. Yeah, you could definitely pop Beppo 100 times, but it depends on what the color is. Obviously, if you don't have type advantage, there's really no point. On the final stage, when you do have type advantage, you need to get around the attack down, you need to get around the despair, and you need to get around the damage null. Plus, there's a territory. If you pop the Coby special, it's going to remove the territory. Plus, he's going to remove the 2 turns of damage nullification, which is really, really nice. Garp on this team is going to be our attack down remover. He removes attack down by 4 turns, plus he gives you a chain min-max value. But because you're using Kuzan on the turn before, you're really only using Garp here to get the attack down removal. So that's basically all he does for this particular team. You do need a little bit more help with attack down though, so we are going to be utilizing the Robin as well as the law support. You honestly don't need this law support now that I'm looking at it. Garp with Coby and Robin, honestly now, it's going to work out really, really nice. Robin is going to remove some of the despair. Actually, now that I'm looking at this, you pretty much just don't need any of these supports. Like, you don't need any of them at all. Luffy's going to take care of some Despair. If you don't have any level 11 broken, then you are going to need some extra help. But with Robin, she removes the block orbs, the attack down, and the Despair. She's really good for this final stage. Works out like an absolute treat. And then obviously Coby is going to give you an orb buff. Luffy's going to give you an attack buff, and you have color affinity with Beppo. So with this team, like, you have quite a good array of damage. Should work out pretty nicely. I don't really see it having too many issues for damage-wise. And it has a pretty good boost. So that's always nice. Again, you do want to try and squeeze on the 1.4s if you can, and then obviously if you have Garp, that's going to help out a lot. As for the intrusion fight for Garp, we are looking at something like this. Now, the intrusion fight's a little bit annoying because on turn 2, there is 7 turns of special bind. Now, if you use the Coby, like, territory shenaniganry, he can remove 6 turns, which is super annoying because you don't get around all the special bind, and you still have to deal with, like, 6 turns of damage reductions, 4 turns of defense up, and resilience, which is really, really frustrating to try and take down. So for the defense up, we have the Brook support on Nami Karina, and then we also have the Markano support on the Giants. The Giants are so good for this fight because you can use their special on turn 2, and not only do they remove the special bind, but they also remove the resilience because they do end of turn damage with their shot, which is really, really good. On the final stage, we are utilizing the support of Coby and the Karina version of Nami Karina to take care of the defense up for 6 turns, the 6 turns of attack down, and 6 turns of the threshold, literally all with just Karina. She's so perfect for this final stage, it's not even funny. Plus, she gives you an orb buff. Not that it matters because Coby gives you one too. But she's so perfect for this final stage that it's not even funny. To get around the damage reduction on the turn before too, we are spamming the Beppo special. He can triple specialist activation, gets the 6 turns of damage reduction. If you do not have this Beppo, you can basically just replace him with any damage reduction remover. Now, Garp is a damage reduction remover himself, but ideally, what we want to do with Garp on this particular team is we want to use him on the final stage, so that way we get activation of the Coby support to remove an extra turn of attack down. Now, very, very annoying if you don't have Coby. I do have a different variation here for you guys if you are missing Coby, but Coby's going to be great. This team's going to give you a little bit more points. On the final stage, you are going to get 13 turns of a bind on 3 random crewmates. So you basically need your captains to remove bind, or you need to use the Coby territory to remove the 6 turns and then just remove the other 4 with sockets. So that's why we have the A support on Luffy. And then with the ship of the Grand Tesoro ship, we remove 1 turn of bind. Now, you don't have to use Grand Tesoro ship. You can literally use any other ship that has 1 turn of bind removal. It just needs to be 1 turn of bind removal, and then you're covered. That way you got the 10 turns. Again, not having double Coby means that you are going to have to find a way around that. And the only way to really successfully guarantee that is for your captains to have an option for this. So, again, Ace is great because he's going to trigger on bind removal, and then you're pretty much covered there. As for the other team that I put together, it looks a little bit like this. You can get a little bit more points out of this team if you want to use Ace with the Cornelius support. That'll work over Sanji and the Brook support because you can always move Brook to the Nami Karina slot, and then you can just use any other support on Luffy. But the idea of this particular team is we are still using, well, you don't need, oh no, you do still need that, yeah. The idea of this particular team is we're still using the Giants on turn 2, they're going to get rid of the special bind, the end of turn damage shot is going to bypass the resilience, but then to remove the damage reduction on this team, we're using Garp. Now with the Garp and the Sengoku support, you're going to remove 6 turns of damage reduction, and this way you don't need that Coby support because you're using something like Vivi. You don't have to use Vivi. If you don't have Vivi, you can actually use this Chopper. Everyone should have picked him up when he was in the shop because he has a very, very good support. And that way you take care of the 7 turns of threshold with Nami Karina once again. Sanji, he has the Brook support to remove more defense up. I used this Sanji because he's a chain boundary unit, but you can definitely use the Treasure Map Legend Sanji. He's a little bit higher point booster, but eventually you're going to need to swap depending on how far you guys plan on going with your Treasure Map run. So that's the Garp. That's what it looks like if you guys just pull Garp. Let's move on to, or also if you have Coby for these particular teams, basically you just want to substitute out the Giants on the intrusion for Coby and make him your captain. That way you bypass all of the special blinds when you use the Coby special, because remember you can use the super class of Coby and then use the the special of Coby. Just keep Luffy, basically just swap Luffy like this, make Coby your captain, and you're off to the races. As for this particular team here, to utilize Coby, you basically want to swap out Kuzan. So you'll basically rotate like this and use Coby as your captain there. That will definitely do the job. But with this particular setup, you're going to want to have some more supports. like the Sanji support here to remove a little bit more despair. Remember, you have to get around 7 turns, and that's basically going to cover you if you have Coby and Garp. Alright, so moving on to if you just have Kuzan now, things change a little bit. To get around the binds on the final boss fight now, we're using Carrot Wanda. Now, obviously, if you have pulled the rare recruit Kuzan, you can't use the free-to-play Kuzan. It's very annoying, but you can use this particular Nami Carrot instead, and that's going to help you guys bypass not only the block orbs, but bypass the bind. It is 6 turns of bind. It is very, very annoying, and because it's on turn 2, there's not a lot of characters that can help you get around that. So bringing something like Nami Carrot's going to work out fine. She's a cerebral character, going to get boosted underneath Coby as well, which works out pretty hunky-dory. With that, you should be able to easily take care of turn 2. You don't really have any other issues, and then you can move on to the final stage. On the final stage, we're going to use Robin once again to get around the block orbs. She removes the attack down, and she removes the despair. Then you partner up with the Luffy captain, and you're just basically bypassing all of the despair, provided you have the break expanded and keyed. If you don't, just use the Sanji support. That's going to work out pretty hunky-dory for you guys as well. Beppo, once again, 1.4 times booster. Works great on this particular team, and that way you can just get a color affinity boost with Beppo and his triple special activation. He has the law support for some more attack down removal, and then with Robin, you have the Frankie support, the free-to-play Frankie. That way you're covered for the whole 9 turns of attack down as well, which works out really, really nicely. We have this particular Kuzan now. He doesn't really do too much on this final stage, besides remove despair. He doesn't obviously apply increased damage taken, which is more damage than what Garp provides. But he just does despair removal, which we're already covered with Robin regardless. Now, if you really want to, you could probably swap Robin out for another despair remover. However, there's not a lot of very good despair removing units on the boosted list, unfortunately. So if we kind of go over here and we go to despair removal, as you can see, like the list, it's not that great, and everything besides Pizarro, who needs 6 powerhouse characters, they're all 1.2 times boosters anyway. Trying to squeeze on a bunch of supports to remove 4 turns of despair can be a little bit challenging. You can definitely do it. 100% you can do it. But it's just going to be a little bit challenging. You would need to have like the Oniguru support here for that. You would have to use the Sanji support here and have your Luffy limit break expanded. That way you're covered for all of the despair. And then you could probably replace Robin with another attack. Or actually, you probably don't even need to replace it with an attack down remover if you're using something like the Grand Tesoro ship. Because remember, you are getting... Well, actually, no, you don't even need the despair because you're covered. Wait, you remove despair, don't you? Basically, just scratch everything I just said because you need attack down. Yeah, so Robin's a must. Basically, the way I had the team. That's going to be the way to run it. You have increased damage taken. Coby gives you an orb buff. You have an attack buff with Luffy. You have super type. You have super class. It all works out pretty nicely for the Pizarro fight. Onto the Kuzan fight, though. We are utilizing Luffy as captain once again. And basically, the team makeup is very similar to what you guys saw with the Garp fight. Obviously, we just substitute Kuzan in for Garp. Now, Kuzan on this fight is great because he takes care of the 4 turns of defense up on turn 2. So you can utilize him here. He removes the 4 turns of defense up, and then you can utilize the Beppo to remove the damage reduction, the Giants to remove the special bind. They take care of the resilience as well. And with these 3 units, they just cover turn 2. Final stage is covered by the Chopper support on Nami Karina. You get around the 6 turns of defense up, attack down, and threshold. And then Luffy with the Ace support is going to give you the bind removal that you need alongside the territory of Coby. Remember, you do need to have a ship, though, that has 1 turn of bind removal. This particular team has options for extra bind removal, but like no one can have a bind support, which is very, very frustrating. So it is what it is. Again, if you guys have Coby, you just basically substitute Giants out for Coby, and then try and find, like, I don't know, like you use like the Momo support on Luffy for some end of turn damage. Use the Luffy special on turn 2, so that way you can bypass it that way to get around the resilience. And then just run double Coby to bypass the special binds. With this particular team here, you basically just need to swap out Nami and Carrot for Coby. You use the Coby special. He's going to auto-proc, remove the bind. You got the extra super class to remove the block orbs, and that's going to work out super hunky-dory. So that's the way you want to run it if you have Coby and you have Garp. But if you guys don't have Coby and you just have Kuzan, your team makeup is going to look very similar to the ones that we started with in these 2 here. Alright, so finally, if you pull both the rare recruits, your team's going to look a little bit like this. Now, against Pizarro, on turn 2, the rare recruits are great because they can basically, well, they don't really do too much for turn 2 now that I'm looking at it. They're really good for the final stage of Pizaro. Not so great for this sort of middle stage here. For this particular team, you need to take care of the bind and you need to take care of block ob. So once again, current Nami, they're going to take care of both of these. They'll trigger the Luffy super type as well, which is awesome. And that way you can get the block ob manipulation, you can get the chain boundary, and it's just going to really help you guys take down turn 2. Remember, they're cerebral too, so they get boosted on Coby. Wham bam, thank you, man. You're pretty much covered there. Remember, if you have any type advantage, whether it be with Nami Carrot in the Dex or the Int variation, or if it's a Psy type advantage, you can spam Beppo special here. You don't need him for the final stage. He gives himself 4 turns color affinity anyway, so you can carry it into the final stage. But look, it's just going to depend on what that typing is for stage 2. On the final stage, you have Beppo's color affinity. It's going to work well. And with the supports of Law and Coby alongside the Garp special, you're going to get around the 9 turns of attack down. Coby removes 3 turns as a support. And then Law removes 2. So you're covered for 5 on top of the 4 turns that Garp is going to do. So therefore, you're getting the 9 turns of attack down, which is really, really nice. To get around the Despair, you only need 7 turns of Despair removal. And with Luffy and his Limit Break expansion, you're going to remove 3 turns of that. And then Kuzan is going to remove 4 turns of that. And then you get a Chain Boundary with Garp. You get an increased damage taken with Kuzan. Plus you have an attack boost with Luffy. Or boost with your friend Captain Coby. Super class, super type, wham, bam, thank you, man. Like, you have so much damage with this team. I don't see it struggling at any particular point. Remember, if you don't have Luffy Limb Break expanded, you can just slap on the Sanji support. That's going to work out super nice, and you can just go off to the races there. So that's the team here. Both the rare recruits, pretty simple. Lots of points, which is great. Crazy that we're using Psy Luffy, man. It's actually wild. But Kobe's going to hit like a truck here. Luffy's going to hit like a truck here, and you should be off to the races. As for the Kuzan fight, this one is a little bit challenging. It's probably one of the worst intrusions we've ever seen, to be honest. There is Special Bind on turn 2, and once again, we are using our good friends, the Giants, to take care of that. If you guys don't have the Giants for this fight, man, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm sorry. Like, if you don't have double Coby or Giants, it's going to be an absolute fucking nightmare. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. Your only other option is literally like Onsen Luffy or Carrot Nami, and both of those characters only remove 6 turns of bind, which therefore means you have to find another way to remove the rest of the special bind. Because like stage 2 has damage reduction, it has defense up. It's a fucking nightmare. Like, it's so cringe. It's very poorly designed. Giants, though, they remove special bind, they remove the resilience with the end of turn damage, and then we're going to use Garp and Kuzan to get around the defense and the damage reduction. Now, they only remove 4 turns. They expect you to do this weird fucking double special shenaniganry, but then they only give you 8 turns of charge. Like, it's so dumb. So with Garp, lucky for us, we have the Sengoku support that covers you for 6 turns of damage reduction. Kuzan's going to have 4 turns of defense up removal, and you're off to the races there. As for the final stage, again, we're using Nami Karina. Nami Karina on this final stage, man, they're so goated. 6 turns of defense up, 6 turns of threshold, and 6 turns of attack down. Then they can either use the Chopper support, they can use the Vivi support for the extra turn of threshold, and you're absolutely covered. Finally, Luffy's our attack booster, Koby's our orb booster. You have a territory with Coby, and then you have the bind removals with the territory of Coby and the ace and ship supports. So that's going to cover you for all of the 10 turns or 11 turns I think you need. I think it's 10. I think it's 10 turns that you need for bind removal, which is crazy. Just the poor design of Coby being 6 turns of all this shit and then making it 7, like needing like 7 turns. It's super cringe because they're just like, hey, we want you to double Coby. So it's what it is. If you guys do have Coby and you have like basically a full batch, again, you're just going to flip this around here. You're then going to use Coby as your captain and then use Momo support on Luffy. That way, when you use the Luffy special, you're going to get the end of turn damage to bypass this resilience. Luffy's 3 turns of an attack boost anyway, so you can carry it into the final stage. It's going to work out really, really nicely. And that way, you just have that end of turn damage support, plus you have Coby to remove the special bind. You won't need that ship there too. So again, Giants are just completely replaceable with Coby if you guys have Coby in the wings. As for this particular fight, if you guys do have Coby and the rare recruits, real simple swap. You just basically swap out the Nami and Carrot unit. That's going to be straight replacement for Coby. Coby super class and special on turn 2 is going to take care of the bind and the block ops for you. And again, it's just a straight swap That way you're getting lots of points. So hopefully these teams helped you guys out. If they did, make sure to go down there, belt the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff for me. If you guys need any help with replacements or anything like that, like I said, let me know in the comment section below. Someone will hopefully get to you before treasure map starts. But if they don't hold it against them, because obviously this one is an absolute doozy as well. Most importantly though, if you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Night!